What's up, guys? It's Professor Gnome here today, and I'm going to be showing off Mewtwo EX. I originally had thought this card was not very good, but I've been seeing some really interesting builds of it working alongside Xatu, and actually being able to make it pretty effective. I've seen a couple different builds, one of them using Clefairy and some other different options, but I think this build is probably the most optimal. We run it alongside Path to the Peak because nothing that we play is affected by Path other than Squawkabilly, but we're not really too worried about that because typically we'll have used Squawk far before we need to use our Path. Other than that, we also run Manaphy to protect our back, to protect our back line and the bench. We could also run the Jirachi, but I wasn't exactly sure where to make space for it when doing my edits. I think you could remove the Mew and put a Jirachi there, or remove the Mew and add a fourth Path to the Peak. It kind of just depends on the value you place on Mew. We also run this Deoxys because we're able to power up a bunch of stuff very quickly. So putting the 3 energy for a quick 120 damage is pretty good, especially after we're able to move all the energy off of this Pokemon and let it kind of be sacrificed. And once we do, we give them one prize, messes up the prize trade a little bit, and we also get to keep all the energy from it. So it actually works out pretty well. Alongside that, we're obviously running 2 boss because we want to be able to pick what we're looking for to be able to attack. And 4 Iono, just to mess up their hands a little bit alongside Path. The other benefit that I didn't really think about too much is that Mewtwo having the electric Terra typing actually works out pretty well because we're allowed to hit into things like Lugia for super effective damage and actually snipe out some wins pretty easily. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to be able to showcase today, but we'll see. And let's get into the game. Alright, we'll be going first. Our opponent called the coin flip wrong. I've actually been getting lucky lately and being able to go first a lot of the time. Alright, we'll lay down our Mewtwo. We have the VIP pass to get us into some options. We can grab ourselves the Natu, I think is the first, the basic. We can go into the Natu, VIP pass. Double peak isn't great. That kind of makes me want to change up the situation. I want it to go Squawkabilly, but I don't think I can now because I don't want to. I normally, like I said in the intro, we can drop Path, but I think in this case we kind of can't because we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose 2 out of the 3 paths in our deck, especially when it could potentially really hinder our opponent's play, because they're going to want to go and use Miraidon and Tandem Unit and be able to draw with Fleet. So if we can slow them down a little bit, that's going to be good for us. Especially because we can... They went Squawk there, so I assume... Is their last card in hand Beach? Oh. No, it's not. That would have been crazy. If they had Beach in hand, or like a Stadium in hand, that would have went nuts. But they don't have it, so now they're like extremely stuck. I think they weren't really thinking when they placed the Squawkabilly in play, or searched it out. I think they just kind of forgot the path was on the field, or they didn't notice. So, speaking of mistakes, I just clicked the wrong attack because I was playing too quickly. So that kind of sucks. Doesn't really make too big of a difference, but it just means we're down a little bit of damage. We'll place the other Mewtwo in play in case it becomes relevant. Let's make sure we click the correct attack this time. We're not hitting for too much damage, but right now they can't really do anything at all, so... Let's run 60. I guess we could have kept this in hand. There's the other path. We'll attack for another 70. So our next attack will knock them out. We'll just have to take some damage while doing it. Oh, that's annoying. This game definitely got awkward. We'll drop the VIP. I'm not really sure what we want to do. We'll take the Xatu, but without an energy, it doesn't really do us any good. So we're going to lose our Mewtwo here. But then we'll switch into this other one, get the knockout. We'll be even in prizes. And he won't have enough energy to really do anything to us back. That's annoying, but still not that bad. Alright, he's choosing not to knock us out. I think we have to discard this. Or not discard that. Place that. Alright, and then... Yeah, alright, so I think here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna discard these two. Find ourselves the other Xatu. Evolve here. Use our ability. Get ourselves 2 more cards. Then we can attach. And end our turn. Because now this kind of forces him, in theory, to attack our active and to knock it out. Interesting. Drew into a second boss. So he's putting everything in position for Iron Hands to knock us out, but he's still gonna have to find a couple more energy to do that. And we will definitely not... Well, we can't use Iono because we don't want them to, you know, get their hand back. Because right now, until they clear path, there's nothing they can do. So that's kind of what we're hoping for. We can Crystal. Look for... let's see. Do we want Deoxys? No, I think we want to grab the energies. Then we'll draw 2. Because if we can find a boss of our own, perfect. That's kind of exactly what we were looking for. We can get rid of the Iono, we can get rid of this. We don't really need them anyway. And we'll grab ourselves the Deoxys. Just to have something else to put energies on. We'll draw 2 more cards. And we'll just kind of keep them locked down. That's perfect, so we can stop them next time they come in. Game bugged out a little bit there, that was weird. We'll attach one more. We'll hit for 250. And guarantee ourselves the knockout on the next turn, which will remove the threat of Iron Hands, and unless he has double colorless, he won't have a way to get energies back onto it anyway. And alright, that's slightly annoying. Not the biggest deal, but... And he still can't clear path, apparently. And if he does, we just have to look for a path of our own. But now we're just looking for the second, we're just looking for the second boss to just be able to get rid of Iron Hands, because that's really the only real credible threat to us. I think we'll put this onto the active. Just kind of beef it up a little bit. Won't really matter too much. Grab ourselves an extra energy so we can draw again. I think we'll put it on this Mewtwo. No. In theory, putting everything onto the Deoxys would be fine. I think that's actually what we're going to do. So we're going to go into the Deoxys. We'll hit for 120. We can kind of spread the board out a little bit here. Get the knockout there. Take one more prize. And we're able to present a one prizer up. And have the ability to switch into whatever it is that he's going to put up here and get two prizes back. So now we're not really worried about Iron Hands at all. And even in a situation where, you know, like we can present Xatu here. We don't really need this thing anymore. Even if he puts up Iron Hands, gets two prizes, we can switch in any Mewtwo and get the knockout back. If he doesn't knock us out, we just retreat and get the KO that way. So we're not really in a bad position by any means. So we can go into our Mewtwo here. And the other benefit that we actually have, let's make sure we attach with Xatu and not from hand first. One of the other benefits that we actually have here is that we have the boss for next turn, if for whatever reason we might need it, because we hit Squawkabilly for weakness. So even if some crazy ridiculous thing happens where we somehow lose like every energy we have on board, we'll still be able to recover and hit it for weakness. So as long as this is on board, we are fine, and this is going to be a one game. That should bring us to like 500 something points on the ladder. I think I'm going to start a kind of climb to Masters series and see if I can hit it this season, or, you know, get high Master Ball tier sometime within this season. Or like Ultra Ball tier sometime this season. So let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in seeing and having me do a like video series on. Okay, so he's gonna promote Xatu, hoping that I don't have the ability to retreat, which isn't a terrible play, but unfortunately for him we can. So we'll go ahead and retreat, bring in our cool guy Mewtwo, Then just for added giggles, we'll go ahead and do a ton of damage onto the Squawkabilly and knock this out. And take the extra prize card. Even though we're not able to take the card because our opponent surrendered. All these decks are so good in combination with Path. Like, honestly, I think we were in a fine spot and probably would have won without it. But being able to get into the early Path and make that choice was, I think, very good for us. So, I'll definitely see you guys in the next... Oh, why is the victory thing cut off like that? That's so weird. Never noticed that before. Is that always like that? Weird. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next... Alright, we're into the next game. Our opponent won the coin flip, so they'll be going first. Not the most ideal start. But that's okay. We can maybe make it work. I like the Pikachu sleeves, they're really nice. Starts with Iron Hands. That can be a bit of a threat to us. Oh, starts with the VIP pass too. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, it's PAL with Iron Hands. That's a little bit better for us because he might kind of get stuck for like a turn or two. I think we just attach one energy here. And we research away all that because none of that was very usable for us. And alright, now we're getting somewhere. So we'll grab ourselves the Deoxys. We'll use the next one to grab ourselves the Mew, or sorry, the other Xatu, and a Squawk. Attach that for turn. Then what I actually want to do here is grab one more energy and discard it with the Squawkabilly. Do I want to switch in? No, I don't. Alright, yeah, so what I want to do is I want to discard all that with Squawk, get myself set up, drop the path down, then I can attack and take the 2 energy that I discarded earlier and place them on the Deoxys to get that set up. Now I'll be in a pretty good position to actually get damage off on my next turn, thanks to the energies in hand that I already have, and Xatu, which will be able to accelerate me even more. He's getting the double fridge backs down, which is good for him. I assume with PAL they can always clear path. One, because they run 4 Pokestops, but also they have so many ways to like search out what they need and draw cards naturally that they should be able to get it just fine. But even if they don't, it looks like they might have the energies they will need from Earthen Vessel. But they'll have to find a way to switch this out. So they have 3 cards left. Oh, are they just gonna go right for... Interesting. Okay, so they still run Skater's Park. That's interesting. Most PAL decks don't run that anymore, but I guess this one does. So they're gonna go into Iron Hands, place all the energies down on that, retreat, and then go into PAL, is what I would assume. Or not. So I guess they didn't have... So first things first, I'm just gonna remove that. I think that's the most important thing to do. Then we will put the extra energy onto Deoxys, draw ourselves some cards, put one onto Mewtwo just to make sure that that's done. Then we will... I think we get rid of one Iono and an energy I want to keep Iono in my hand, or at least keep one in play for now. I don't want to Iono him, at least not yet. So for now, what I want to do is I guess just start getting damage off on the Iron Hands. It's a 2-hit KO. You shouldn't have too much in hand left. So I can knock this out on the next turn. Yeah, and now I get Iono'd, but that's like totally fine. The reason I want to keep the one Iono in hand is because what'll end up happening with this deck sometimes is because of how rapidly you draw, you actually can end up decking yourself out. Like, the game's only just started and I'm already at 19 cards left in deck. So sometimes what you kind of want to do is just establish a large hand to be able to Iono yourself with later and kind of keep yourself from decking out. It's partially why we also run the double. That was a bad play. There was no reason to put the energies back onto Iron Hands like that. Because now that's just going to get knocked out. We'll put some energy onto one Xatu for a moment. But I actually don't want to do too many. Right now we have enough damage to knock this out. So we'll keep that in play. We don't want to draw too many cards while we don't have to. Because we're also not looking for anything specific at the moment. We have the boss's orders, so we can always knock out one of these if we have to. And we have all the energy in play to get to the 120 threshold, which is the next thing that we need to do. The problem is that we don't have a Pokemon we really want to put these energies onto. So for now, we're kind of good to just sit back and hold on to them. If they're able to get a knockout here, I don't think they are, because they'll only have 4, so it means they need 1 in hand, and one of those was an electric energy. Yeah, so they still... Oh, okay, they were gonna boss up the Squawk. That's actually really good for me. That doesn't even... Does that knock that out? 140, yes. So... That's actually really good for me, though. Not necessarily, like, a mistake on their part. But... it gives me bench space now to be able to power up another Mewtwo. And have another thing for my energies to actually go onto. So we can go ahead and place one there. We found the Bravery Charm, we can throw that on. And we can throw one on manually. Because again, we don't want to continue to draw cards too much, considering the game's in a good spot for us to just kind of end it and win. But we don't want to overdraw, because the reality is we can't use almost any of these cards, and most of the cards in our deck we can't use either. So we're in a fine spot. There's no point to just keep drawing indefinitely when we don't have to. So now we can boss up the PAL. I'm kind of surprised they haven't cleared the path more effectively. It's kind of the first thing I would have like really tried to do, because path shuts down PAL along with a lot of other decks in the meta very well. There's the Skater's Park. Won't totally matter unless he's able to get into, what is it, 5 energies he needs? So he needs an energy retrieval of some kind in hand, otherwise he doesn't get the knockout. So that's going to be game. But yeah, they definitely needed to make more of a priority on clearing the... of clearing out the paths. So that's their mistake there. And I don't think running Skater's Park is very good. those are definitely the things I would critique in this game. But we're going to be able to get a knockout, show off the power of this deck, and also the power of Path, because it can really just shut off an entire deck. Again, I think without Path, we would still be in a fine position, but in combination with it, like a deck that doesn't require it and can just kind of sit under it is so powerful. But I hope I showed off the power of the deck and, you know, just how good it can be. Let me know what you want to see next, and yeah, thanks guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who's liked the video so far and stuff like that. Really does mean a lot. You know, we're growing slowly but surely, and you know, even if just one person is watching, I would still be making these videos for that one person. So everybody that sees it through to the end of the video, I do appreciate it. You know, working on improving the content each time I do these, to explain the thought process of the game and really kind of get into kind of some of the deeper decisions. But if there's a way that you feel it could be improved or anything like that, definitely don't be shy to let me know. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you again so much. And I'll see you all in the